This is Vic Love here, formerly from 195 Victoria Road, Brady. Now living in Hazelbrook in New South Wales in Australia. I've been here for about 40 years. Well, I've tracked it back to 1801. There was Loves living in Foyleside in 1801, but according to Grange Graveyard, we've been here much longer than that, from the 1600s. There's a record of a Victor Love, would you believe, buried in Grange Graveyard from 1710, I think it is. So we would assume, since he died in 1710, we're assuming that he lived in the 1600s. So and I believe the family home is down at Clough-Boy. The original family home is not where the family home is now. The other family home was nearer to the Gribben than the current one. So they been there a long time. Yeah. And then there's more Loves that used to live over where Bob Rankin lives. There's another family of Loves that lived over there. I don't know if they were related or not, but I think they probably were, but I don't know what the relationship was. So yeah.
There's lots of place names that aren't necessarily on maps. They're not necessarily names that young people might use now, but you've named a couple of there, the Gribben, Clough-Boy, any other wee kind of place names that you recall?
You know, I don't know who lives in the Hunter's house now over, on the bottom end of the Moss Road. But that was known as the Half Town.
All right.
Yeah, and there was a Lindsay Love lived in the house that's right. Mind you, I don't know if those houses are still there. They may not be. They may not be there anymore. But there was a Lindsay Love lived in the Half Town. And I asked my father one time when I was a wee fella, where's the Half Town? And that's where he told me it was. In some of the family history, if you look at the honour boards in the Macronamian Church, there's a Meta Love mentioned on the honour boards. She was from the Half Town. So I don't know why it was called the Half Town. I've no idea. And my father didn't know either, because I asked him, why is it called the Half Town? He said, no idea.
We just take these names for granted, don't we? So I'm currently in, I suppose what you would know as Old Henderson's shop.
Well, I would know it as Tommy McGovern's shop.
There you are. Well, Tommy McGovern's shop, then Henderson. So that is now called Wallace Hub, and that's where I'm based. That's my office, and we've a bit of
okay.
And in the main room, we have a bit of a wall with lots of Ulster Scots. Well, don't know if we call them Ulster Scots words or Brady words and Brady Place. We've got the Gribben, we've got Thrones Corner, we've got the Cooley. So we're going to have to add the Half Town.
And there's another, the road that goes up behind our old place. It's now called Ballybeanie Road. Well, that was Cloughogle Road in my day.
Right.
That was known as Cloughogle Road. There was a townland there called Cloughogle. There was two fields that we had there behind where Leslie Campbell used to live.
Yep.
The cottage there. Well, there was two fields behind him, and that was known as the Cloughogle Farm. Cloughogle is a really old name. Because if you look at, there's maps available online. I've seen them online. I think William Rosen put some maps up long time ago, and it mentions Cloughogle on those. And I mean, those maps were from about the 1600s, not 1700s.
Wow, very good.
And the post office changed it all because they renamed the roads themselves. Right. I don't think there was much consultation about it. They just said, well, that's going to be called Bally whatever road, and they just got on with it. Well, you see, did you know there was a shop down there at Clough-Boy? It was Jimmy Hamilton's shop.
No, my granny spoke about this. So we interviewed Greta today, and she talked about a shop, Jimmy Hamilton shop, and I said, surely there wasn't more than one shop or three shops that we know of between.
Well, this one's right down at the end of what you now call the Dunalong Road when it comes in from Dunalong, coming from the church there, and it goes to our family farm was Foyleside, which is right at the end there, and you go straight across and it goes to the Gribben, and on the right hand side there's a wee house, and that was Hamilton's. That was Hamilton's house, and that was Hamilton's shop. Had a wee shop in there,
Right.
and all the fishermen that used to fish down at the Gribben used to come up and buy stuff in Hamilton's shop.
Wow.
You know, so that was the old James Hamilton and his wife used to run it, and then of course Jimmy Hamilton took it over, and they had a wee farm. I think they had about maybe 5 acres with the farm. There was a field behind it, and they had a wee farm of about 5 acres there. And that was a shop and everything. It was kind of like a wee social centre. It was a great place to grow up in because it was it was much more rural then than it is now, and it was a real family community because us young fellas used to run around the roads, you know, and these days you wouldn't get to run around the roads at all because obviously the traffic's a lot worse too. But we actually when I was a wee fella, we actually played football on the main road. And we'd catch the ball if a lorry or a car came along. We'd grab the ball and run to the side of the road and let them pass, and then start playing again. You know, so that's how much traffic there was around in those days. Not much, and but everybody looked out for everybody. You know, sort of thing. There were no phones or anything like that, and we used to ride around on our bicycles. And we used to go down to the school at weekends and that, and we'd play cricket and football in Larry's Field. And somebody would walk past and shout out, "Hey Victor, your mother's looking for you," to come home like for me tea or me dinner or something, you know. But as I say, everybody looked out for all the kids that were running around, and you know, you were never in any danger. And you used to go and people would invite you into their house for a cup of tea or something, you know. And I remember Alan's used to live over at I forget what at the top of the hill there.
Yep.
Alan's used to live in there, and we used to always go down into his house because he was a kind of a Bobby Allen was a very handy man, very clever man, and he had a generator, and he had a wee TV on it, and we always used to go to his house to watch Sergeant Bilko and a couple of other shows in the afternoon, you know, because he was the only one in the place had a TV set. The social centre was really British School.
Right.
We used to, as I said, we played in the cricket. We played cricket and football in Larry's Field. There was no football field or anything in those days. It was just the school was there, and then we used Larry's Field, and it was Stephen Larry Senior, and he used to just turn a blind eye to us. You know, I mean, I don't think he would be all that happy with us playing in the field, but he never said anything. Well, there was a Orange Hall dances on a Saturday night. That was the big thing was the dances on the Orange Halls. I think Norman Campbell mostly. I don't remember any bands playing there, but it was mostly Norman Campbell on his accordion, and he just was up on the stage on his own with an accordion, and he used to play the music, and there used to be lots of people come. I can sort of remember a band coming, somebody in his old time dance band, and I think there was a saxophone and a guitar and a set of drums and an accordion. There was always an accordion in those days. But they used to have dances on the Orange Hall as well, in the Badminton Hall. The big thing in those days was they used to have a lot of treasure hunts. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yeah.
And John Turner was a very clever man too. He used to write all the treasure hunt sheets. So what would happen? There would be about 10 places, all, and they'd go up as far as say Sandville, up around there, even further. Everybody would be in a car. There'd be about 5 people to a car, and you had to interpret the poem. Mr. Turner used to write a poem.
Wow.
Giving you clues as to what you were looking for, and then when you got to the point and you saw what you were looking for, you wrote it down on the sheet, and the first car back won the and all the right answers won the treasure hunt. So they were big back in those days. And
when you say big, Victor, like these dances in the hall and these treasure hunts, like are we talking 20, 30 people? Are we talking like 100 people?
Well, the dances on the Saturday night were the Orange Hall and whatever they held in the Badminton Hall was chock-a-block. They were full of people. I'm talking, or some of the Orange Halls. I mean, I remember going to my first dance in the Orange Hall. I was 13, and that was full to the doors. My wife remembers going to some of the Orange Halls out in Brady. Or right. Some of the dancers in Brady, and she was she's 10 years younger than me, so and she remembers going to the Orange Halls in Brady. It was very much so. The Orange Lodge was sort of like in the middle of it, really. Yeah, and the ABOD, they were kind of involved a wee bit too. Well, they were involved. And the other thing was the whist drives. They used to there was a card game called a whist, and they used to have whist drives. Right. But I think that was mainly down in Maron-Mason in the church hall. I was in the boys' brigade, but there was a table tennis club in the hall, in the Maron-Mason church hall. I remember playing as a young fella playing table tennis in the church hall, and then I played badminton in the badminton hall as well. And I tell a story about that. Was it used to confuse people, the living daylights out of people, because my uncle was called Victor.
Yep.
And my aunt, who was my father's sister, she was called Betty Love, and Victor's wife was called Betty Love as well.
Yep.
And then I was there, so I used to play doubles with my aunt, my uncle's wife, and he used to play doubles with his sister. So it was Victor and Betty Love versus Victor and Betty Love. And he used to confuse the living daylights out of everybody.
That's why I struggle with these family trees, with all these generations passing on the name.
He lived out at Foyleside. Anyway, he was not all that interested in farming to start with, so he decided to join the Air Force in 1938, I think it was. And so he went to Halton College in England to learn. He was a bit of an engineering type person, so that's where they taught all the engineering type people in the Air Force, was in Halton. There was another college where they trained the pilots and all those sort of people, but Halton was mainly for engineering type students. He got posted to initially France, but then he got called out when he was on the docks of Southampton going to France in 1939. He was lucky to get called out and asked to stay in England because they were very short of planes and they needed all the planes that had crashed or something like that. He got called to rebuild them. So there was a few of them. Anyway, he ended up, he didn't escape for long. He went to Egypt, and that's where he met my mother. My mother was English, as you might know, and she was from London, and she was at the end of the war. They came back to. He was posted to Aldergrove up near Belfast, and that's where I was born in that period of after the end of the war, because they came home. They came home from Egypt in 1946, and he discovered that he had TB.
All right.
Yeah. So he and that's I ended up living down at Foyleside for a period of time, because once they found out that he had TB, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere near him, and so I ended up living in Foyleside for about probably about 5 or 6 years. When he came home, and of course when he sort of recovered from the TB, he couldn't get a job anywhere, because TB was a big deal in those days, and it was sort of like having COVID now. People didn't want you anywhere near them in case they got TB, so he couldn't get a job or anything. And he was lucky because he belonged to the British Legion, and there was an old army major lived up in Strabane called Archie McKinley, and Archie was president of the Strabane British Legion, and he gave him a job up in Alexander Weir's place up in Strabane, which he worked there for. Initially as an auctioneer, and like selling land and furniture and stuff like that, and deceased estates and that sort of thing. But he didn't want to do that for the rest of his life, so he asked Mr. McKinley if he could start his own farm machinery business, and Mr. McKinley said, "Yeah, you can do that." And so he started the machinery business up in Strabane called Alexander Weir and Company, so he started the farm machinery business up in Strabane and ran it for how many years? I don't know how many years, till he was 70 when he retired, so that was 1988. So he ran that up. He ran that till then. And how he ended up in Brady was the Moorheads. There was. Now, I don't know this from personal experience, but this is just what my folks have told me. There was a old lady, Moorhead, and her daughter. Neither of them, I think the old lady Moorhead had been married, and her daughter lived with her. And when the old lady died, the property was left to Victor Love, because Victor Love's mother was Moorhead. I joined the Merchant Navy, you see, and I was in the Merchant Navy I didn't really want to farm when I was in me, I think my father and my family, the whole family, wanted me to farm, but I wasn't really. I saw what those men went through all their lives. I mean, 7 days a week, working hard. And not only that, my father also had the business in Strabane as well. But I joined the Merchant Navy because I didn't really want to farm. There's a whole story behind that too, but I won't bore you with that. So I joined the Merchant Navy in 1968, and I landed in Australia. And what you were talking about earlier, the sunshine and the weather and everything, I was absolutely blown away. All this sunshine, I thought, oh, this is the place for me. So I paid off in Sydney in 1974. And I was supposed to fly home, but I asked the company if I could stay in Australia for 3 months. And one of the people that worked on the wharf offered me a job. And I said, all right, so I'll give it a go for 3 months. And I really liked it. And so after the end of 3 months, I had to go home because I didn't have a visa. And I went home, and nothing would do me, but I'd get back to Australia again. And I decided to come back, and I just flew out to Australia again, and I landed in Australia I think this was about May 1974, and I was getting into the airport, and the customs and immigration was going through me stuff, and they said, "You haven't got a visa for Australia?" And I said, "No, I haven't." But I said, "I've been here before." He said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a fridge mechanic. I'd never worked on a fridge in my life." And he said, "Oh, we need plenty of you guys," and he let me in.
Wow.
And yeah, and I stayed that was 1974. I stayed till 1979, and then my father had a bad accident where he broke his leg in 3 places, and my mother wrote to me and said, would I consider coming home to help out, because she didn't know what to do with the farm. So that's when I came home in 1979, and so I worked on the farm, 4 years, and then I had enough. And my father was sufficiently recovered at that stage to go back to what he was doing, so I came back to Australia then. But I got married in the meantime, and I had to I brought my wife out here as well. So this, when I was young, I never ever thought I would leave Brady. Brady and Mara Mason was my world, and I never ever thought I would leave Brady. I found all the people in Brady fantastic. Like your grandfather Leslie and me were great pals, and of course I was great pals with Bertie Campbell, and I was, the Campbells and me go back a long way, because I worked with your great grandfather.
All right.
Dick Campbell.
Huh?
Well, to go back to Foyleside, that was a dairy. We used to supply milk to the dairy, half a dairy, because they had a dairy down at Foyleside and a herd of cows. But when my first memories of Foyleside were Dick Campbell, Sam Taylor, Johnny Ogilvy, who else was there? Bob Henderson, which was Billy, Henderson's shop.
Yep.
That was Billy's father. Bob Henderson was Billy's father. I used to love working with those guys, because the stories and the banter between them was unbelievable.
My granddad always told stories of they had a wee boat down at Victor's farm at Foyleside, because the pubs in the south used to open on the Sunday, but the pubs in the north.
That's right.
There's a few dodgy stories in the few months, I think.
Yeah, well, and just after the war, apparently they weren't averse to bringing some cigarettes across either, because cigarettes and butter, I think, were the two things they used to bring across. Well, I can remember that Gribben, down there, when it was absolutely chock-a-block full of boats and fishermen. Because the buyers used to come round, the people that bought the fish,
right.
And of course when the buyers were coming around to buy the fish, of course all the boats would come in with their catches in it, so I can remember it being absolutely chock-a-block full of boats.
Wow.
And of course there was an unwritten rule too. The middle of the river was the border, so that theoretically the northern guys couldn't cross the line in the middle of the river, so the guys from Donegal used to come out so far too. So there was some sort of a border down there that they knew not to cross. So, but there's one of the stories was when I first started with them. You wore those big waders. You ever seen the wading boots?
Yep.
You wore the big waders, and anyway, they were taking the boat. They took the boat out, and my job was to be in the boat and make sure the net didn't get tangled as it went over the side. So I had to make sure that it didn't get tangled up. And they go out into the middle of the river, and they'd sit out the middle of the river with a net like that there. And of course, the fish would swim into it. and wouldn't be able to get through. And then they would curve around and come back in and pull the rope up by a winch. And we were coming in, and Billy Hamilton said to me, he said, "You get ready to jump and run up the beach to where the winch is and get the rope onto the winch." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Right, now." And I jump out, and of course I went down, went over my head, and the wading boots filled up with water. And they were all laughing. They were all killing themselves laughing at it. It was just a bit of a joke. And they pulled me back into the boat. They were all laughing.
That's so funny, because I've never ever seen a boat at the Gribben in my whole life.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that used to be a real busy place. Because I think I'm pretty sure that mind you, I'm talking, what, 60 years ago? Or more than 60. So I'm pretty sure that the bailiffs had a base there.
Right.
And there was also, I'm pretty sure there were stores, like, you wouldn't call them cool rooms.
Yeah, the fish house.
That's right.
So my daddy has a story that he claims to fame about the fish house, Vic. So there's an account from the Siege of Derry times, and it says on it, a few of the apprentices scaled the walls and they went up the River Foyle for 7 miles and they stole the fish from the fish house. So my daddy's Brady claim to fame is that if it wasn't for Brady, we would have lost the siege. So I don't know how historically accurate we are, but it's the claim to fame now.
I don't know. Is the house still there? What was it? Robert Patterson? Patterson's used to live in the house.
There's no house down there. All there is what we call the fish house with the rounded roof, and then there's like a wee in the back. That's all.
Well, that's where the bailiff's place was as well. Where that is. That was there too. Mind you, the bailiffs were really well liked around. They weren't all that good. There was the poacher, because the poachers, they used to go along. The poachers used to hide boats in the rushes, and the bailiffs used to go and put holes in them. To stop them using the boat, because the boats the poachers used were only small things. Yeah. But the boats that the licensed fishermen used, they were quite big. They were probably, I don't know, as long, probably, what would that be, probably about 5-6 meters long. Oh. And in the early days they rowed. That in the later days they had a outboard motor, but in the early days they used to have the rowers. There was 5 rowers, I think, 5 or 6 rowers.
I think it was a wee dodgy rowing boat my granddad always talked about, anyway.
It would be. One of the biggest poachers was a fellow called Joe Lynch, and I won't explain who Joe Lynch was because you might know his family. There's a few Joe Lynches around, so you can take your pick which one you think it is. Or there was a few Joe Lynches around. Yeah. He lived, you know where I was talking about the half down there?
Yep.
I think William McRae live down there? He's got a bungalow there.
Yep.
Where William McRae's bungalow is, there used to be a wee cottage just about where was a 1-room cottage, and Joe Lynch lived down there, and Joe Lynch made his living, can I say, allegedly by poaching. Allegedly. But he was the man that started my musical career, because he used to have 78s record, they had an old windy up gramophone.
Yeah.
And he used to play country music, people like Hank Thompson and Hank Williams and old country singers like that. And I remember listening to this music in Joe Lynch's house, and it was just I thought that's the music I like. You know, I've moved on a bit from country music now, but it started my music career. I really like the music. Well, Jimmy Hamilton. Did you know Jimmy Hamilton?
Yep.
Yeah, well, already know him. Well, I think there were lots of characters around in those days. There was Eddie Tate, Eddie, and I don't know, he would be Reggie Campbell.
Yep.
Do you remember Reggie? Reggie was a bit of a character. He taught me how to play darts, and I have in my time been champion of the Blue Mountains. So, and I was all down to Reggie teaching me to play darts, because I used to play darts up in what was the pub up in Clough-Corr?
Harkins.
Well, it was Fulton's before that. It was Fulton's before it was Harkins. Yeah. Yeah. So they used to play darts up there, and of course I was too young to go there. So I used to go down to Reggie's house, and I would throw darts with him. So he taught me how to play darts, and there were a few good yarns there too. Well, there was Andy Sheeran. You remember Andy Sheeran?
No, but I remember Ivan Sheeran.
Well, it's his father.
Right.
Andy was a bit of a character. Andy was one of those people that just he just helped out wherever he could. You know, he worked for everybody. He didn't work for anybody in particular, just worked for everybody. He worked for all the labor and work around the farms and that. And Andy was a good character. But I'll tell you who was a really good character was Bob Finlay and Tom Finlay. They built most of the farm buildings in Bridie. Bob was the kind of designer and carpenter, and Tom was the builder. He was the bricklayer and the concreter. They were a couple of characters. They built most of our place, which isn't our place anymore. I got to remember.
Hopefully now people will listen in on this, Vic, and come up with some more wee memories and more stories and yarns that we get to share.
Well, yeah. Well, if I can jog some people's memory, that would be good. I remember Bridie. You remember when you wouldn't remember when Bridie Cricket Club was up at Bridie?
Not when it was in Bridie, no, because I've always had a question of why Bridie Cricket Club's in Macromason.
Well, it used to be in Bridie. It was just you know where Peter Crumley lives. Well, just the field that's in front of his place, but towards Derry. That's where the original Bridie Cricket Club was.
Never knew.
There, and I had it that week. There used to be a wee tin shed that we changed in, and that tin shed made it to Macromason. It went down to Macromason when they first went down to Macromason, and then of course they got the prefab, and the tin shed went. But they played. That's where they played the cricket, and I can remember along the main road there, because there was a banking along the side of the field, and the people on a Saturday afternoon, the road was practically blocked with all the cars and the people that were standing on the banking watching the cricket.
I'm glad you told me that, because the amount of times I've said, why is it Bridie Cricket Club but it's in Macromason? And I've always kind of said Macromason and Bridie's, they're always been connected. They're always very much of a muchness, but I never understood that.
Well, there you go. And Foyle Wanderers used to play down at Foyle Side. The original Foyle Wanderers played on the field in front of Foyle Side, and they had an old Nissen hut for a change room. That's the other thing I remember too from back in those days is the flax growing.
Right.
They used to grow flax because there was a big linen industry in Northern Ireland at that time, and all the farmers used to grow flax. And they had all the farms had what they called flax dams, and when they cut the flax, they used to put it in the dams so it would rot. And the rot, when the organic matter rotted it left the stuff that they made the linen from.
Wow.
So and it used to stink. It used to stink to high. worse than when they're spreading pig manure everywhere. But every farm had flax dams.
Wow.
And I can remember I'm pretty sure it was your great grandfather, Nick, being in the flax dam, pushing they used to have to get in and push it down under the water all the time. And then they would, when it had finally rotted, they'd lift it out. And I don't remember any more about the process because that's the last I saw of it. That was a long time ago. I would only have been a wee fella then.
I was like you. I kind of stayed away from farms and farming as much as possible. The only thing I remember was when there was new piglets down at Love's farm. Granny used to work, and then I used to always want to go and see the wee piglets.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Greta and Leslie were great friends of my uncle and my aunt. I remember when I come home either on leave from the Merchant Navy or come home on holidays. Like the first place I would go is down to Foyleside, and Greta and Leslie nearly always were there.
Yeah.
So they're great friends. Leslie, I can remember when I made the decision in 1980. When did we come out here? 1983. Yeah, when I made the decision in 1983, we were going to come back out to Australia. Your grandfather and me, we were down in Villa's pub down in New Buildings, and I remember the two of us the night before I left to come back to Australia. I can remember me and Leslie were drinking half of Scots, and the two of us were crying. Leslie says, "Oh man," he said, "you should stay here in Farm." I said, "Leslie, I'll never stay here in Farm. I don't want the farm."
He was a big softy.
He was. Leslie, a lovely man. Well, Leslie and Reggie, I had a lot of time for Reggie. Reggie was very good too. I used to go around and see Reggie all the time, and Reggie and May.
Yep.
And God love them. They're all gone now, but that was a lovely time.
So nice to hear all them stories.
Aye. So I'm sure I've got a lot more memories, but that's just about the lot.
You definitely taught me a few things, and thank you so much for your time.
It's all right. Any time.